And we are back, everybody, for part 2 with the one, the only, the master, the king of all pigs and skincare, Charles Mayfield.
How you doing, Amy?
I bet you never going to introduce like that before.
Not often, but I'm embracing it.
I love it. Well, like we talked about in your first episode, I mentioned it in the intro 222. I mean, there's so much more to you than what you're doing right now, which is like a lot of us, right? Like your whole life's trajectory has brought you to the work you're doing now. I mean, you're full-blown entrepreneur at this point, and you're just doing so many good things for humanity. I know you're a freedom fighter. You're about like power to the people. And, I am just a big fan of your product. I'm so grateful I found it years ago. I've got it on right now. And I have other skincare products too that I enjoy. But I have to tell you, when I put yours on, Pharaoh Life Skincare, it just feels different. I mean, there's something to be said about something that's biologically alike. I can feel it on my skin, and you can feel the way it nourishes you. It's almost like your body, I swear, like not to get too loopy right off the start, but what the heck? It's like your body recognizes it and is like, yeah, Like I put it on my skin and I just like it. It just feels good. So welcome back.
It's great to be here, Amy. I'm excited. Summer's coming, and I know we talked offline before we hit record. So just excited to share some tips and tricks and all the various things to prep your listeners for summer. And yeah, it's great to be here and see you again. You look amazing. So thanks for the shout out and nod with our products. But yeah, let's dive into summer. And I had a note too. I want to talk about Pamela Anderson while we're on the show today at some point. So let's
do it. Hit me up.
All right, I'll hit you. So you know who Pamela Anderson is?
Oh, I sure do.
Did you see all the kerfuffle maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago with her at one of these like movie or television or some kind of award red carpet things? And I don't know if you know this, but Pam went makeup free.
I did
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I saw that documentary and I was like, whoa, that's different.
It's remarkable. And there was a big kerfuffle, on the social medias. She graced the red carpet with no makeup. And, obviously now I want to say Pam is in her mid to late 50s. I believe that's accurate. Yep. And everyone's up in arms, what happened to Pam? And my goodness, I thought she looked amazing. But the point I wanted to, my response to everything, because, it's this close up of her face. And, then they'd put it next to, the made up, Pam Anderson of old from Baywatch. But the comment I made, and I think this is a particularly great observation for you and your audience, my comment was, look at the peace in that woman's eyes. And you could see, this is just her genuine, authentic self. And she just looks so at peace. And that's part of beauty. They say, what is beauty is skin deep. But man, if you look in someone's eyes, you can tell, is there turmoil? Is there anxiety? Is there stress? And she just looked amazing. And so, a lot of the stuff we'll unpack today is really just as we get older and spend more time in the sun, not less, just developing a better relationship with the sun and some good tips and tricks, because I thought she looked outstanding. And she seemed certainly at peace with herself and her beauty. And so there you go.
That is such a brilliant observation and such an important point to make because, I will admit, when I first saw, I think it was Netflix or something, that documentary that came out with her just a few years ago, Makeup Free, I was like, whoa, double take. Like, because, the whole glam Pam is like a whole manufactured image. She's like the Jessica Rabbit character in the cartoon thing, But that's the whole, right? That's the whole Hollywood, not even a real person. I mean, she had those eyebrows that were like pencils and absolutely gorgeous, of course. But, the bleached hair and the whole deal. But so it's very interesting that she's at the point in her life where she's stepping into the wise woman stage of owning herself, bringing back that authenticity. But you nailed it in that you recognized in her energy, in her field, in her eyes, that she's okay within herself. And I bet you 99% of all the other people on that red carpet are not, even though they've got a face full of makeup, right? Like, I mean, there's no price on that. Somebody who doesn't need the makeup, like I probably wouldn't feel comfortable being completely barefaced. I'm not a big makeup person either, but I got to hand it to Pam Anderson. If she did that, that takes a lot of guts, a lot of guts. So that really is testimony to her sense of self, her confidence, and her really being okay with deflecting all that, oh my God, all that criticism and everything. I can imagine, because she was known for that look. I mean, which is, it's not like she was even a normal actress. She was the one known for that persona. Mm-hmm. So it's all the more reason why, wow. But I was going to tell you, to your point, though, to take it back to skincare, for all the ladies, the foundation of your beauty is your skin. So you've got to dial in the skin game before you go to the makeup game. We've all seen the woman, right, that's got bad skin, and you can tell they're covering it up with makeup. Right? Like, do you need to wear makeup? And this is for all the ladies. How do you feel when you leave the house? Do you feel like I got to put on some concealer first? I've got to put on some makeup first. I don't want to be seen without my makeup. I know some women who need a full face of makeup before they step out. I mean, so where do you land on that spectrum? So to bring it home, we all need to really, number one, work on foundations with everything in life, right? Food, sleep, water, love, all that stuff. Skin is number one before you go to the decorations of the makeup. So, Charles, what can you share with us about laying a healthy skin foundation first, so we've got beautiful skin to work from?
Yeah, sure. So, skin, we need to feed our skin from the inside and the out. I think I just commented something on X maybe it was this morning, I forget. It's a lot going on in the world, but collagen, just to unpack one, you see all these collagen infused, peptide infused creams and this, that, and the other. Collagen is a protein and frankly belongs in your mouth. So from a skin health standpoint, I would say on the outside and inside, I'm promoting a lot of animal products. Animal protein, these are whole, dense, complete proteins. They have those natural collagens, natural vitamins and minerals, the animal fat as well. So just consuming what I would say is an animal-based diet. I'm not going to tell people to avoid vegetables or fruits, certainly seasonally, but really just giving your body from the inside, giving it the necessary tools and ingredients it needs to build and maintain healthy skin. Secondarily, and this is really the point of our discussion today, is we've been taught now to fear the sun, and summer is coming. We evolved with the sun. Our species has been intimately out in the sun for many, many years. And, part of the problem with the last, I would say 40 to 50 years of human existence is we've been somehow psyoped into thinking that we could put this petroleum-based, chemical-based sunscreen on our bodies. And somehow that was protecting us. And we've, again, this fear of skin cancer and all these various things, we've been taught to stay out of the sun, when in reality, we can build a very healthy relationship with the sun. And it's one of the best things in the world for our skin, for our sleep, all the various things, how it impacts our circadian rhythm. I would even say, adding to that, we spend more time indoors than outdoors, and that didn't used to be the case. And so, just we can talk about some tips and tricks and various things related to the sun. And then last but not least is what are we putting on our skin? And, to wrap it all up, we're a mammal. We're an animal. And so, limiting our, I guess, product repertoire, limiting that to, animal fat based. Skincare is a fat based industry. And so limiting the products that we put on our skin to, just like with our food, if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't eat it. The same thing goes for skincare. And so there's a number of great brands in the space. Tallow is very hot right now. If you're looking into the ancestral, animal-based skincare, and we love tallow. We use some of it in our products, but I would just, point people towards, if you're going to put it on your skin, you ought to be able to eat it, and it should probably come from an animal. The history books point to, olive oils and various dairy, milk, bathing in milks, and I'm a fan of all that. We can talk about good, better, best, but I think it would be good for us to sort of dive into some good, forget skincare for a second, but some really good tips around getting ready to build what I call a summer callus, which is building up this resilience for your skin to withstand and recover from, maybe more sun exposure than we bargained for.
All great points. And like they say, if it's on your skin, you're drinking it, because everybody knows your skin is nothing but a big sponge. So it goes directly into your bloodstream. That's why medicines and stuff are often topical, very powerful. And I also like to remind people that light is a nutrient. Full spectrum natural light, that light, just like if you visualize a cornucopia of vegetables or a big salad with all the different colors and textures and shapes and sizes and nutrients in different vegetables, the light spectrum as it goes through the 24-hour cycle is the same way. You're going to get a different instruction from the light at 8 a.m. as you would from 1 p.m., as you will at 6 p.m., as you will from 11 p.m. So light is very, very powerful and important. It's a biological oscillator. It communicates to your body different things to do. So I love that you're saying all this. And, like so much of that's going on in natural health and the great awakening that the world is going through right now, we're realizing that so much of what we've been told by authorities is literally back-ass backward. It's like if they tell you to do it, you should not have been doing it. It's like everything. And sun is the same way. I mean, we all have memories of mom holding you down and slathering the skin lotion, sun lotion on you when you're at the beach, so you don't get sunburn and all that stuff. But we're now realizing is not only that stuff, that very stuff you're putting on your skin, most likely toxic, and maybe you can talk to that, but also it's blocking what you need to run your body properly. So it's like a double whammy. So before we get into the nutritional profile of how you can help build your solar callus, is there anything you want to say about how sunblock in particular, even a lot of the natural stuff, by the way, you guys, the stuff you find at Whole Foods, because I hear a lot of people say, well, I get my natural stuff. It's like, well, that's not so much better. Do you know anything about how sunblock is actually toxic?
Sure. Well, I mean, you've got, I'm of a certain age. I remember when sunscreens, if you want to call them that, were mostly tanning oils.
Right.
Okay. And so we've ventured away. I guess you had some zinc oxide stuff. And if you went fishing, you'd put it on your face, but most of your body was covered in an oil. And we've moved
like Panama Jack.
That's right. That's right. It smelled like that fake coconut.
I can still smell it now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It lingered.
So, I think it's important to note, going back 40 years. So if you graft three things, if you graft sunscreen use, it's imagine your vertical and horizontal axes. So you see a precipitous increase in sunscreen use for the past 40 to 50 years. Okay. Then you graph on top of that SPF value. Again, I'm old enough to remember when the most SPF value you could find might be a 20. You had 6, 8, 10, and 12 Panama Jack sun tanning oils, right? Well, if you put that on a graph and chart it, you can walk into your grocery store and get 120, 150 SPF value cream now.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we've got a incidence of usage going up. We've got the SPF value, which is the sun protective factor value going up. But unfortunately, we also have, if we graph a curve of incidence of skin cancer, that graph is also going up and up and up and up. And so that really doesn't intuitively make sense. You mentioned something, Amy, and I think this is the first, especially this time of year, this is the first great tip for anybody. The other thing we see is a prevalence in the wearing of sunglasses and UV blocking sunglasses. And for thousands of years, our body has been signaled by the sun to prepare our skin for, more UV exposure or less. And a lot of that's driven, it's related directly to sort of the circadian rhythm. And so we're doing a whole lot of disruptive signaling to our body when it comes to how should I prepare my skin today? And so the wearing of these UV, this is a great time of year, especially early in the day and late in the day, to just take those sunglasses off. In fact, take them off, period, and really get your eyes adapted to dealing with the sun. Now, do I have a pair of sunglasses? Absolutely. And I carry them in my car. If I'm ever near the water, that's sort of double. If I'm ever driving and, the sun's in my face, then I'll put them on. So I do believe there are incidents that call for us being able to handle sort of direct sunlight with some protection. But by and large, now is a great time of year to put the sunglasses down, let your eyes adjust. If you want to wear a hat or something to sort of prevent, direct sun, that's great. But letting those natural UV rays in and the intensity of the ray. We don't wear sunglasses in the morning or evening. We wear them during the day when the sun is brightest, and that's blocking these signals that release all the various peptides and signals from our body to give our skin sort of this preparatory stance. It's almost like a fight or flight stance for your skin. Okay, the intense sun rays are coming. Let's prepare for it. And so, there's a cheap, inexpensive tip number one. I would say dietarily, and this, the research is coming out leaps and bounds. This is part of the MAHA movement, so to speak. They're not talking about it through the lens of skincare, more dietarily, and that's but reducing or eliminating seed oils. And so if you look at the oils used in a lot of these skincare products, a lot of them are cheap synthetic or seed oil derived fats. Skincare is a fatty business, but also what we ingest, and a lot of those seed oils are highly oxidative, highly pro-inflammatory. That's not going to help. And then speaking to your question about what are the chemicals or what are the ingredients in most skin or sunblock products, oxybenzones, phthalates, parabens, all of these chemically derived sunblocking and emulsifying and preservatives. And a lot of these are highly endocrine disrupting, which is not good for us, but they're leaching into our skin. And so if you have to have we don't have a sunblock product right now. I don't wear it. I don't wear sunblock anymore. Yeah. But look for a mineral base. So if you just have to have sunscreen, there's some great brands out there that are using ionized zinc oxide, but get a mineral base, not a chemical base. Those chemicals are really, really bad for you. Oxybenzone being probably number one sort of villain on the list. And they're also killing coral reefs and destroying water systems and all that. So
the sunscreen is, I had it was Elizabeth, Elizabeth Plurd. I think it was episode 117. We talked about sunscreens and skin cancer, the connection. And she went into how the coral reefs are being destroyed from all the humans swimming in the ocean with all their toxic sunscreens, like going out into the water and killing all the fish and killing all the coral reefs. So is it good for us? I mean, they're just all super great points. I definitely want to circle back on the MAHA thing going on currently, Charles, but I think I want to underscore your point because, again, this might be news to most of the audience and the viewership, that there is a direct correlation between wearing sunglasses and sunburn. There's a correlation because your eyes, you got to remember, everybody, your eyes are your brain outside of your head. There's directly the light going into your eyes goes into the optic nerve, which I cannot remember of the fancy name of what they're, something reticular or whatever the hell it is back there, that it's programming. Remember, light is instructions. Light is information. It's telling your cells what to do. So if the light is not coming into your eyes, your skin, all the things that have to happen, like increasing melatonin, which makes you tan, that's not going to all get turned on. So you build, like Charles's point, you build your solar callus, which will give you some tan, which prevents you from burning. So when you take your eyes out of the equation with glasses, you eliminate that like gatekeeper of your body that nature put there for us. So it's so flip-ass backwards that you should be wearing the glasses at night, your blue blockers, to block the blue light, which is the daylight coming in your eyes. You're not wearing your glasses during the day. So I, like you, Charles, I'm like the one person at the event that does not have glasses on. I guess they don't look cool, but I am all about, because like you, most of us, we're indoors working, right? We're on computers, so when I'm outside, you better best believe I'm getting as much of my skin and my eyes as much as possible directly exposed to the light, because I'm having Dr. Alexis Cohen. I'm sure you know of her.
Oh yeah,
she's coming on the show next week, whenever. So everybody stay tuned, make sure you subscribe. You must listen to that because she's going to get into the science of it. She is a scientist, and as you know, she's a light biologist. So
big fan of Pharaoh too.
Sorry, yay. You know what? Her and I, and we're both really, she became hooked up with Paul Chek, who is, of course, my buddy. And it's like, when you and I met, it's like when you find your people and it's like you have so many connections. It's really beautiful when that happens. I love it. So, all right. So it's important what you're putting on. And let's just underscore about the PUFA thing, the seed oil. So letting the natural light, building your solar callus. And what he means by that, everybody, is you don't just, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to get full spectrum light. Now you might be watching or listening to this in the summer. It doesn't mean you go outside and get totally burned because you've got to let your body acclimate. Maybe 20 minutes one day, an hour the next day. Be smart about it. Like let your body build up a slow tan. So you don't want to burn. That's not good. You have to have discretion. So we got that aspect, but then we got what we're doing from the inside. So what you're consuming into your body can also determine if you get liver spots, freckles, warts, obviously sunburn, sun cancer. And we know there's a correlation between omega-6 oils, which are PUFAs, polyunsaturated. Now, guys, these are fish oils, okay? Those count in cottonseed, corn, canola. So if you're having corn chips, tortilla chips, all the soy products, salad dressings are a huge one. You've got to read labels. These are the things Charles was talking about. These are the omega-6s that can increase inflammation in your body and make you more susceptible to sun cancer. Take it away, Charles.
Well, yeah. I mean, I alluded earlier to a very animal-based diet from a nutrition standpoint. And on the other side of that coin is eliminating all of these artificial. I mean, it's funny. I think if most consumers saw how canola oil was made, they wouldn't eat it. It's so terrible.
And I will add, you're saying animal-based, just to clarify, because that's not omega-6s. That's a different type of fat molecularly, everybody. So what he's saying is not the plant stuff. The plant-based, which are the PUFAs, those are the ones that go rancid and then they wreak havoc in your body. Whereas the animal-based are saturated, so your body doesn't get all screwed up by them. Do you want to clarify that point?
Well, I mean, it's hard to get omega-6 without omega-3. What you're trying to do is eliminate the discrepancy. If I want to be eating one omega-3 to say 2 or 3 omega-6s, right? That ratio. And the problem you see with a lot of these seed oils is because of all the oxidation and because of the processing and good Lord, they have to deodorize it. They have to do that. I mean, if you watch it, Google that and watch a video. But what happens is you get this immense disparity. And so now I'm getting one omega-3 to say 100 omega-6, and the omega-6 are pro-inflammatory. We need them. In real, I mean, you're gonna eat omega-6. What you want to do is eat foods that are as close to the natural ratios as possible. And so, beef, fish. I'm not a big fan of fish oils. Again, highly volatile. They can get oxidized very quickly. Again, I would rather you be getting your omega-3s and omega-6s from what you eat, not this supplement. And you see cod liver fish oils, and some of them are fermented, and there's various things. I mean, there's a lot of people out there promoting that stuff, but quite frankly, just local meat. I'm a big fan of herbivores, so lamb, beef, elk, deer, goat. We don't eat any goat in this country. It's the most widely eaten meat, I think, on the planet, but which is America's a beef country. But that's the best source for your essential fatty acids, essential vitamins and minerals. Again, all the ingredients. If you were going to bake a cake of skin health, it would contain all of the ingredients found in this herbivorous meat that we're eating. And of course, I would add pork to that. But you got to have your pork from a local, pastured regenerative source.
Well, I would add all meat from a local pasture regenerative source. It's worth the money, because you're just getting a boatload of toxins and a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want. And I'll also point out too, for the audience, keep in mind, this includes nuts. So if everybody thinks almonds and even macadamia nuts, which are more, I think it's what's omega-9s, they're less 6 than the others. Remember, guys, those are still all polyunsaturated. So if you're in the summertime, you really want to minimize all these plant-based oils, nuts, all that, because that's what nuts are. They're a plant-based fat. All that is going to make you more susceptible to not only wrinkles, brown spots, burning, and possibly skin cancer. I mean, we really, if you really got to save it for the winter, if anything. But natural things. I like too, Charles, like coconut oil when it's super high summer, and I need something on my skin because, I don't want, I feel like that's a good barrier. It keeps the moisture in my skin. And it just, I don't know, that if anything is what I'm going to use for suntan lotion, if you will.
Yeah, I think the SPF value of lard is slightly higher. So cool. Every fat has an inherent SPF value. I think coconut oil is around 4 to 6. And it's always a window. So depending on the source and this, that, and the other. But any oil, I mean, any natural oil, olive oil, yes. I would say, coconut oil. So, and part of the skin health sun barrier equation is you want moist skin.
Yes.
You want hydrated skin. And so
yes,
any oil is going to do a better job of retaining the moisture in your skin by just applying it before you go out in the sun. That's a great segue into sort of the next tip, which is, okay, so here's a big tip. If your shadow is taller than you are, okay, you can't get sunburned. Now, as we get into the summer months, everyone knows this in winter, right? You can't get vitamin D because the sun's so low in the sky that your shadow is always taller than you are. But as a just general rule going into, well, when can I be out in the sun and when am I at risk? If your shadow is taller than you are, then you can't be sunburned. Okay. Now that's from sunrise to probably 10:30, 11 a.m. this time of year. And generally it starts to get a little longer back around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so, and that will spread out, the sun's intensity, June, July, August, it's way more intense. It's straight up in the sky here, certainly here in the Northern Hemisphere. But that feeds into the next thing I want to tell everybody is our ancestors, if it was noon on a Tuesday and our ancestors were out working the fields or, catching the fish or doing whatever, humans had to do forever, they were fully clothed. They had a hat, big, hat. They had long sleeves on. And so, part of this is the psyop that somehow if I can be half naked at noon for 3 hours in full sun, just because I put this chemical-based product on my skin, that's not very good advice. And, forever, we've had a bigger respect for the sun. Obviously, we spent a lot more time outdoors hundreds of years ago, but it just, again, if you spend all day in an office, get your 10 or 15 minutes of direct sun. But if you're going to the beach with your kids or whatever the case may be, when it gets to be about 11:30, either clothe up, or maybe it's time to go take a lunch break and play a board game and do some,
or go in the shade,
or just go in the shade.
You can still be out in the light. You're getting the full spectrum, but it's indirect.
That's exactly right. Yep. So shade is wonderful. Pack your beach umbrella, and I want you
sunscreen.
That's exactly
nature's
right.
Sunscreen is the shade.
That's exactly right. And so just being aware of that. Again, if we're going to take out all these chemical-induced sunblocks, and again, we're stacking stuff up here. We're going to clean up our diet. We're going to start building a sun callus. Again, getting sun in the eyes early morning and in the evening, getting direct sun in our eyes through, not direct, but full sun in our eyes, taking the sunglasses off. Over the course of, a couple of weeks of this, you're going to start to make your skin more resilient to getting burned. Having said that, if you're bold enough to go spend 3 straight hours in direct sun, in July, you're going to get burned. If you're not, I don't care how clean you eat, all the other things we've talked about. And so it's just building that awareness of, it might be time to seek shade. And so I just want to make that point.
I think
Absolutely.
That's a very, very, very good point. And then I'm glad you're saying that, just to remind everybody. At the end of the day, with everything, guys, we all know you really just have to use discretion. You got to use, common sense. It's like more is not better. It's just more. Like too much is not a good thing. It's too much, So have discretion. Be aware of your body. Be in your body. You can feel it when you're burning. Your body's going to tell you, get out of the sun. You're going to, don't get in your head and be like, no, I need to get my full spectrum light. No. Pay attention to your body. Is your skin telling you, is it turning pink? I mean, that's such a good point. And I did not know that tip about the shadow. That's very good. I'm learning a lot. And I'll refer people to, I'll try to remember to put this in the show notes. I have a blog post. Dr. Kate Shanahan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a real expert on the PUFA thing, everybody. Check her out if you want more information on the polyunsaturated oils, the bad fats that you don't want inside or outside. They are definitely contributing to wrinkles and sunburn and sun cancer. I have an article on my website, amyfournier.com, on the Hateful Eight. She talks about the top 8 oils that are the culprits, like the soy, the canola, the corn. Charles, time is flying by. You gotta share with us your knowledge on what's going on. Why is skincare absent from the Make America Great Again discussion? What's happening? The truth, of course.
Yeah, it speaks to the problem with skincare in general today. We don't associate, it's our largest organ, and they call it our second stomach. And so as excited as I am about all the attention with MAHA and RFK and everything going on, skincare seems quite devoid from that conversation. And it's not that food isn't important, but part of the real problem with skincare is over thousands of years, we've actually developed some pretty sophisticated mechanisms for getting things out of our body that don't necessarily agree with us. Now, the food companies have figured out a bunch of stuff to work around that, and satiety and all these various things. But when it comes to our skin, we've got less than, call it 80 years of evolution as it relates to the chemicals and the various compounds that we're putting on our skin. And the Food and Cosmetics Act was started in 1938, I believe, the same year that the American Academy of Dermatology started. And there've been very few updates to that act since, as it relates to cosmetics and skincare. And so the number of chemicals, the number of compounds that are allowed into the cosmetics and skincare industry is enough to choke an elephant, if you will. Why is it absent? Well, I mean, I think intuitively we can talk about how everyone eats every day. Not everyone skincare is not necessarily a part of their routine. Yep. So I think that probably speaks to maybe why it doesn't have as big a voice. And quite frankly, if you clean up your diet, a lot of the skin issues, I mean, I'm sure you pay attention, eczema is being normalized, psoriasis. There's a new pharmaceutical injectable for some skin condition. By the way, symptomatic skin response to some underlying, autoimmune problem or whatever the case may be. But I think, candidly, I'm here to tell people that they need to pay attention to their skin, and I hope it becomes a louder voice in the general MAHA movement. Having said that, back to square one with, what you put in your mouth is going to directly impact, for better or for worse, your skin's health. And so I do think at the end of the day, that is important. I would like to see a little bit more light shown on the number of chemicals allowed in skincare. Just to unpack that, I believe there's 11 chemicals prohibited from skincare products in the United States of America. And by contrast, the EU has a list of over 1,300. That's not good. So, there's a delta there of, roughly 1,289 chemicals that our FDA sees fit to allow into our skincare.
And remember, all they have to do is change a little component about that chemical. It becomes a new chemical, and that one hasn't been reviewed yet, so it's technically allowed. All they have to do is change it a little bit, and it's well, that's not that anymore, so it's this one now.
Well, and it's actually worse. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the GRAS label, generally recognized as safe. Yeah. Most of those compounds, whether it be food or skincare, which, candidly, Amy, those two industries look identical, And so if something's, labeled GRAS, well, it was tested in isolation. We see this with pharmaceutical drugs as well. This drug was tested in isolation, but now all of a sudden you've got a prescription for 7 drugs. And never in human trials was it tested all 7 at the same time.
Just like the V word.
Just like
all
the V word.
All of the V's that you get, and your kid getting 72 by the time they're 12 or whatever the hell it is, no one tested all of them together.
Correct. And so with these preservatives, phthalates, parabens, oxybenzones, all these different ingredients in skincare, even if one's labeled as GRAS, it was never tested in conjunction with, the myriad of other chemicals that it's combined with to make the sunscreen or the skin moisturizer or anything like that. And so, it's we don't know. I mean, here's what we do know, that a lot of these compounds are endocrine disrupting. Skincare is 3 things. Skincare is lipids, it's pH, and it's vitamins and minerals. Now, when I say lipids, pH, and vitamin minerals, I'm looking at skincare through the lens of what can I put on my skin that's going to optimally feed this second stomach. Okay, when it comes to the lipids, there's no better lipid balance than animal fat. Okay, but completely devoid in all commercial skincare is animal fat. Okay, so we've missed the lipids. Then you've got pH. Well, in the again, skincare concocting industry, you got to put this chemical in that mixes with the pH, and you got to put this chemical in, and so you're sort of constantly chasing your tail, adding more or less chemicals to get the pH to basically try to match up with human skin. And in doing so, the pH might get right, but all these chemicals don't respond to us. And the last piece is vitamins and minerals. And again, this looks just like the diet industry. The molecular makeup of vitamin A, we'll just use that one as an example, which is, by the way, called retinol in the skincare industry. It's just vitamin A, folks. It's nothing fancy. But the point is, just like naturally occurring, naturally metabolized vitamin A, say through your diet, is a far better source molecularly and recognizable by your body in its natural state. These synthetic compounds on a molecular level are different. And so with skincare, the vitamins, the minerals, all these things they, put on the label, vitamin A infused. Well, that vitamin A came from a lab. It was grown or it was synthesized. Mm-hmm. Your skin, your body doesn't recognize that on a molecular level, so it's going to absorb less of it. Same with diet. These plant-based proteins, on paper, it might be 22 grams of protein, but once that foreign entity comes into our stomach, we don't metabolize it as well, and so we're not going to absorb it as well. So those three things, the lipids, the pH, and the vitamins and minerals. You can knock all three of those out of the park by using an animal-based skincare, and certainly incorporating more of those foods into your diet.
That is so great. Thank you for educating us on that. I'm going to go back and listen to this a couple times because, you are the guy, you are the expert, and that is super interesting. And it's great for me as a professional that's been in holistic health for as long as I have, because I've been telling people forever that if your body doesn't recognize it, it can't really use it. And even worse, to take it one step further, it then has to detoxify it. So rather than kind of helping yourself, you're almost doing a negative, because now your body has to figure out a way to get it out, So you're right, like you're stressing your detoxification organs. So I love that. This is so brilliant. So again, if it's on your skin, it's like you're eating it. So it makes sense. Your body's to detoxify it. As we get to the end here, Charles, on this note, please share with us the importance of water, not only for the inside for our skin, but you mentioned on your first episode, 222, which everybody's got to go back and listen to because it's a whole bunch of other stuff. But you mentioned the role of water. Talk to us about the importance of water, both for the inside and the outside in a product.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, hydrate, folks. Yeah. Generally, what do they say? Half your body weight in ounces per day. I generally tell folks to try and get at least half, if not 2/3 of that consumption done before 10 a.m. So, get out of bed in the morning, knock your water back. Goes without saying that you should be drinking reasonably well-sourced or clean water. So, if you get your filters right, I would add water on our skin. So a lot of municipalities have various chlorines and cleansers in water. So that I don't have any specific references for you, but it's something to pull on in terms of filters for your shower, your bath, or your home. But
I've got some on my website, everybody.
Oh, perfect.
It needs to be said. Yep.
You do all the hard work for me. Yep. Thank you. When it comes to water on your skin, this is so
in your products.
We don't have any water in our products.
Right. So but if you could repeat that, because that was a very important point you said on the first time that, again, Absolutely. Is very, very eye-opening. Who would have thunk it, So please.
Yeah, sure. So back to reading your labels.
Yeah.
The first ingredient on pretty much every skincare product out there pretty much is water or agua. They make it sound fancy. And so you've got about 65 to 75% of that emulsification. So what we've done is we've emulsified fat with water, okay? And all the chemicals have to come in. But more importantly, when that water goes on your skin, it's not going to absorb, just like getting out of the ocean or getting out of the pool. If you stand there and you air dry for just, 5 minutes, your skin feels tight. It feels itchy. It feels dry because the water on the surface of our skin has sort of clung to the water in our skin. And as it evaporates, it works just like an evaporative cooler. It's going to pull water out of our skin. Absolutely. So
wait, the water on the outside pulls the water from the inside.
Well, we make our skin moist. We make it hydrated, and then we air dry or dry off. And if we do that, let that happen naturally, that as that water evaporates, it pulls any surface water with it. And so that's your standard skincare product is 70% water. And people think, oh, it's soaked in because it went on, wet, and now all of a sudden it's dry. Oh, it's soaked in. No, all the water just evaporated and pulled any excess, sort of close to the surface water on your skin, pulled it with it. So that's not good. And you got all the chemical dose and everything like that. So as it relates to water, I like to tell people, whether you're getting out of the pool or getting out of the shower, getting out of the ocean, it's probably good to dry off as fast as you can. Okay. Just to get that excess water off. It's also a great time, again, post shower, post bath, or even post swimming pool. Now's a great time to actually put some moisturizer on. There's a method called slugging. Have you heard of this? This is the new skincare thing. Yeah. So you put your moisturizer on, and then you cover that with like Vaseline or some, toxic goop, and it seals the moisture in. And so we want to do that, but we want to do it naturally. And so again, a tallow product or a lard-based product,
rather than the Vaseline.
That's right. That's right. Yep. So it's pretty short and sweet. Clean up your water, drink plenty of it, and then I would say shower, bath, and you're reminding me of one more thing we need to talk about. But shower, bath, pool, or ocean, just like get dried off as quickly as you can. Can I add one more thing? I just reminded because it was in my notes. This is another one of the things that got really bad following the situation in 2020. We are highly over-sanitized.
Right.
Highly over-sanitized. And so we can start with the really worst ones, all these chemical and alcohol-based cleansers.
Purell everywhere.
Just get rid of them. If you're in a surgical setting, if you've got a cut or a scrape or your skin is broken, absolutely sanitize that, get it cleaned, and that's it. But beyond that, the soaps, the shampoos, here's a tip. If it doesn't say soap, don't use it. If it says beauty bar or cleansing bar.
Really?
Yeah. If it doesn't say soap, then that product contains extremely noxious cleansing agents, most of which were developed out of World War II for wound care. And they're repurposed them into the cosmetics and beauty space. Soap is short for saponification. And saponification is when we take lye and we mix it with fat and we make soap. It saponifies it.
Cool.
And so, but beyond that, we're over cleansing. We're over sanitizing. Okay. And what we're doing when we do that, again, back to skin health, is we're over stripping the natural oils off of our body, the microbiome that covers our body. We're artificially removing all of that on a very, very regular basis. And that is not good for our skin. So I'm all for the shower. I'm all for the bath. Warm water and a washcloth does like 99% of the cleaning you need. Summer's a great time to experiment with this. When I usually talk about, put the soap and shampoo down for a few days, people are, oh, what am I going to do? So, if you've got a vacation coming up, going to the beach, whatever the case may be, a couple days before, this is going to sound crazy, Amy, but a couple days before, just put the soap and shampoo away. Warm water and a washcloth. You can shower. You feel great. What's going to happen is over the next 2 to 3 to 4 days, which is why nobody ever makes it that long, your body may feel a little greasy because it's still producing the amount of sebum that it's been used to producing, because every day you're stripping it off. Every day you're stripping it off. But if you can, just like a dietary change, if you can make it through about 5 to 8 days of just warm water and a washcloth, you'll reset, you'll recalibrate your body's internal production of sebum, which is that's the oil our glands produce. And my goodness, your hair will look better. Your skin will look better.
Moist.
Absolutely.
Plump and hydrated. It's holding the water rather than letting it slough off.
That's right.
Brilliant.
Well, go look at a picture of your great great grandmother and her beautiful china white skin or whatever the case may be. And, and she took a bath maybe once a week,
Right.
And was using soap that were, all natural ingredients.
Yeah,
But
they're probably using lard-based soap.
probably so.
Yeah. No, I love that tip that it has to say soap. I didn't know that. I mean, I got, of course, all natural stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Like it has like 2 ingredients in my bar. I like the old bar soap thing. But I also use castor oil.
I need to ship you. Have you tried our soap?
I do not have your soap, Charles.
Shipping you a goat soap.
Oh my gosh, please. Thank you. Oh my gosh, hook me up. I love it. Thank you. And, I'm one of those people that when I go in, like I just traveled at the airport and they got the Purell everywhere and all that stuff. I won't wash my hands. It's like I am not using that poisonous garbage. But I like even just using castor oil in the shower. I've become a big fan of castor oil. I had Marisol, who's Queen of the Thrones. It's a new product I added to my store because just like Pharaoh skincare, it's like I'm just on board. There's certain things that just work. They work on the inside and the outside. They're ancient secrets. Castor oil's one. Cleopatra used it hundreds of years ago. I mean, pig, lard, fat, whatever you want to call it, Pharaoh stuff, you've modernized it for us. They've used it forever. And we're giving all the reasons why it actually works and it's good for you inside and out. So I'm just thrilled that I found you and you've been gracious enough to give us the coupon code Aphrodite for people to try it, save a little money. But before we close out, anything else you feel like you need to share with us today? This has been tremendous.
Well, back to Pam Anderson, just know that you're a beautiful person and relax and, get your sleep. 99% of the skincare battle is free. It's the sun's free, water's effectively free, sleep, all those things.
And we didn't mention sleep. I'm glad you put that in there. That's huge for the stress.
Sleep's a big one. 7 to 8 hours for sure, preferably in a dark room. Yes. I don't have a pair here, but, back to the light. The sun's great. The sun goes down. So, help your sleep by, turning these things. There you go. Yeah.
My blue blockers. They're on my website too, everybody.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So those are just the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The low-hanging fruit. Hydrate. Eat a real food diet. Get your sleep. Hang out with some friends, preferably outside in the sun. But really, now's the time of the month or time of the year, Amy, to build that summer callus. And so, just like you schedule all the other things in your calendar, get outside, get you 10 to 15 minutes of good sun exposure, preferably during the intense times of the day. Yeah. Try to see the sun come up, try to see the sun go down, just reset those circadian rhythms, throw the sunglasses away, or at least put them away. And this, optimal skin is not hard. It's just, you got to do 180 degrees on what they tell you.
Exactly. I think all such great points that if you go back on all 250 episodes of Awakening Aphrodite, we've talked about a lot of those because that's it. Guys, you got to get the foundations right. Every good major league coach knows that. He's got to drill the foundations with his team. They got to get the basics right before you go to all the, fancy stuff at the top. Just brilliant. So important. Before I let you go though, this oral elixir, I'm going to be selfish, everybody. Tell me how to use this because I've got, again, I use these all myself. I've got all the, the different products for Pharaoh.
Skin food and face food.
Skin food and face food. You're going to send me the soap. Yay.
Yep.
But what's this one? I've been putting this on my skin too, the elixir.
It's an oral elixir. It won't hurt going on your skin. It's MCT oil, cannabidiol, and a little orange essential oil. It's designed to go under the tongue.
Okay, good.
CBD, which is short for cannabidiol. It's one of close to 100 compounds in the hemp plant, but it's been shown to reduce inflammation, help with sleep, a number of different things. And so that's our one sort of dietary component to optimal skin. It's giving your skin permission from the inside out to thrive. And so not everybody uses it. I happen to take it in the morning, but we typically recommend people take it at night before bed. I just full disclosure, about 10% of the population, I'm one of them, it doesn't help their sleep taking it at night. And so I tell people to start there. If they find they're not sleeping better, then switch to the morning. I just had an email with somebody the other day about this. But yeah, it's just look, dampen the flames. Your skin, as important as it is going to take a back seat to internal inflammation, joint pain. It's going to take a back seat to all the stuff going on inside, right? And so this is a way to sort of, again, relax. It's a way to relax the body. I know you're a big proponent of meditation and making sure you're getting your prayer and your gratitude. I think Ben Azadi, a good buddy of mine, calls it vitamin G, gratitude, right?
Nice.
All those things are a part of the equation, but this is certainly something that can goose the reduction of internal inflammation. And so it's one of our total skincare bundle is certainly a piece of that.
Thank you for clarifying. And I'll add to your vitamin G that, the importance of giving yourself grace. So when you say G, I think grace. Yeah, like we're all trying to do all the things, and it's like we're trying to keep this simple. So what I do, everybody, again, I'm stuck inside working like everyone else. I started a new thing that I eat lunch outside. I mean, sometimes I'm literally just standing outside eating my lunch while my dog's running around crazy. I'm just eating my lunch outside. I got to eat lunch. I got to stop. So I take that. Yes. Would it be better if it was an hour or two? I don't have an hour or two. So even if it's 10 minutes, you do what you can. If you can only roll your back one day, that's all you can do. You did something. It's what you do all the time, consistently. All the little things add up. So just all great advice. Okay, I'm going to have some of that. Either elixir. I put it on my skin like a serum. It works.
It's funny. I'm sort of a skincare novice, certainly when we launched the company. And so I was using it sublingually, but I was less aware of the serum market, which is huge. And so people would order it. My cousin called me and he's like, man, this stuff's great on your skin. And I was like,
that's what I've been doing. I'm telling you. I mean, you could.
It's going to work. I mean, MCT oil is derived from coconut. The reason I tell people the benefit of that is the CBD absorption.
Okay.
And CBD, because of the molecular size of the molecule, it doesn't absorb through the skin as well. Now, again, putting MCT oil on your skin, great, but the full benefits of that particular product are going to happen if you put it under your tongue and, just hold it in there for about a minute.
Good to know. Well, I, like you, I'm the backwards one. Most people, magnesium helps them sleep. Me, it's backwards. I have to take it in the morning. So, it just comes down to knowing your body, everybody. It doesn't matter what I tell you, Charles, anybody. It's what you paying attention to what your body's telling you and looking for patterns. That's how human beings have survived into the 20th century, is we've paid attention to our environment, outside and inside, to know how to survive. So I love it. Always an amazing discussion. I have a feeling you're going to come back on the show. Maybe we'll circle back in about a year because you're always onto something new. I don't know when, but you have an open invitation. And any final thoughts? You got to tell us how to find you. I know we've got to clear up the handle on Instagram, so please tell us all your scoop.
Sure. At Pharaoh Skin is our Instagram, as well as, I guess we call it X now, Twitter handle. And then the website is pharaoh.life. That's FARROW for those that are not the Egyptian pharaoh.
Which means the baby pig.
That's right.
Piglets,
It's a reference to a new baby born batch of piglets.
Love that.
But yeah, those are the three places to find us. We try to be somewhat active on our socials, but the website's the best place. And yeah, just an absolute pleasure to be here, Amy.
Thank you. And you were gracious enough to mention the code, because if they go on your site, what's the code?
Aphrodite. Aphrodite will save you 15%.
Isn't that amazing, everybody? Thank you so much for doing that for us, Charles. So just remember, you can get through it on my e-store website, Amy Fournier. If you forget, go direct to Charles. But do remember, Aphrodite, that coupon code at checkout will save some money because we like doing a win-win-win. Everybody wins. We're all in this together, everybody. All right. Enjoy. Don't forget, check out 222, Charles's first appearance. Share this with someone you love who needs to be educated about the truth about skincare and sun care and summer sun and plant-based and animal-based and just, all that good beauty and health stuff. Charles Mayfield, thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.
Thank you, Amy.